Hello guys, today we will be going over the Germany Iceberg, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
World War II. World War II was a global conflict sparked when Nazi Germany, led by Adolf Hitler, invaded Poland, prompting Britain and France to declare war. Driven by expansionist and racist ideology, Germany conquered much of Europe, formed the Axis alliance with Italy and Japan, and committed atrocities including the Holocaust. Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler was the dictator of Nazi Germany from 1933 to 1945, rising to power through nationalist rhetoric, propaganda, and promises to restore Germany's strength after World War I. He established a totalitarian regime, aggressively expanded German territory, and initiated World War II in 1939 by invading Poland. Hitler's policies of anti-Semitism and racial supremacy led to the Holocaust, in which 6 million Jews and millions of others were murdered. Nazi Germany. Nazi Germany was the name for Germany from 1933 to 1945, when it was ruled by Adolf Hitler and his Nazi party. The government was a dictatorship, meaning people had no real freedom and had to follow strict rules. Nazi leaders believed in dangerous ideas about race and power, which led to unfair treatment, violence, and war. This period ended in 1945, when Germany lost World War II and the Nazi Party was defeated. The Berlin Wall. The Berlin Wall was a tall barrier built in 1961 that divided the city of Berlin into East Berlin and West Berlin. It was made by the East German government to stop people from leaving the communist East for the democratic West. Families and friends were separated, and crossing the wall was very dangerous. In 1989, the Berlin Wall was torn down, and it became a symbol of freedom and the end of the Cold War. The German Unification. German unification happened in 1990, when East Germany and West Germany became one country again, after being divided for 45 years. The split had happened after World War II, with the East under communist rule and the West being democratic. The fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989 was the first big step toward bringing the two sides together. On October 3, 1990, Germany was officially reunited, a day now celebrated as German Unity Day.
The Protestant Reformation. The Protestant Reformation was a religious movement in the 1500s that began when Martin Luther, a German monk, challenged the Catholic Church's practices and teachings. He wanted the Bible to be the main authority for Christians and for people to have a direct relationship with God. This movement led to the creation of new Christian groups, called Protestants, separate from the Catholic Church. Martin Luther. Martin Luther was a German monk and teacher who started the Protestant Reformation. He believed the Catholic Church was doing wrong by selling indulgences, payments for forgiveness, and he wanted people to focus on the Bible instead. In 1517, he famously posted his 95 Theses, listing his complaints against the Church. The Munich Agreement. The Munich Agreement was a deal made in 1938 between Germany, Britain, France, and Italy. It allowed Nazi Germany to take over the Sudetenland, a part of Czechoslovakia, without a fight. The leaders hoped this would prevent a war, a policy called appeasement. Instead, it encouraged Hitler to demand more, leading to World War II the next year. Weimar Republic. The Weimar Republic was Germany's government from 1919 to 1933, created after World War I when the German Empire ended. It was a democracy, but it faced big problems like economic hardship, political violence, and resentment over the Treaty of Versailles. Many Germans lost faith in it during the Great Depression, which made it easier for Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party to rise to power. The Weimar Republic officially ended in 1933 when Hitler became dictator. Franz Ferdinand. Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria was the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne. His assassination in Sarajevo on June 28, 1914, by Serbian nationalist Gavrilo Princip. This sparked the chain of events that led to the start of World War I. His death caused Austria-Hungary to declare war on Serbia, which drew in many other countries due to alliances. This event is often called the spark that ignited the Great War. Otto von Bismarck. Otto von Bismarck, 1815 to 1898, was a powerful German leader known as the Iron Chancellor. He helped unify the many independent German states into one country, the German Empire, in 1871. Bismarck used diplomacy and wars to strengthen Germany and keep peace in Europe through a system of alliances. He also introduced important social reforms to improve the lives of German workers. Frankfurt School. The Frankfurt School is a group of mid-20th century German intellectuals associated with the Institute for Social Research in Frankfurt, known for developing critical theory. They combined Marxist social analysis with other disciplines like philosophy, sociology, and psychology to critique capitalism, culture, and modern society. Key figures include Theodor Adorno, Max Horkheimer, Herbert Marcuse, and Walter Benjamin. The Berlin Olympics. The 1936 Berlin Olympics were held in Nazi Germany and used by Adolf Hitler's regime as a propaganda tool to showcase the supposed superiority of the Aryan race. Despite the regime's racist agenda, African-American athlete Jesse Owens famously won 4 gold medals, challenging Nazi racial ideology. The Games were also notable for being the first to be televised and for introducing the Olympic torch relay tradition. Eisenhower's role. Dwight D. Eisenhower was a 5-star general in World War II and served as the supreme commander of the Allied expeditionary forces in Europe, leading the successful D-Day invasion in 1944. After the war, he became the 34th President of the United States, 1953 to 1961, focusing on Cold War policies, infrastructure development, and maintaining a strong but cautious stance against communism. Eisenhower launched the interstate highway system, significantly transforming American infrastructure and economy. Ludwig van Beethoven. Ludwig van Beethoven was a German composer and pianist, widely regarded as one of the greatest figures in Western classical music. Born in 1770, he bridged the classical and romantic eras, creating iconic works like his 9 symphonies, piano sonatas, and string quartets. Despite losing his hearing later in life, Beethoven continued to compose groundbreaking music that profoundly influenced generations of musicians. Romanticism. Romanticism in Germany was a cultural and intellectual movement in the late 18th and early 19th centuries that emphasized emotion, individualism, and a deep appreciation for nature and the past. It arose partly as a reaction against the Enlightenment's focus on reason and the Industrial Revolution's mechanization. Key figures included poets and thinkers like Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, Friedrich Schiller, and the Brothers Grimm, who celebrated folklore, myth, and the sublime. Treaty of Versailles. The Treaty of Versailles was the peace agreement signed in 1919 that officially ended World War I between Germany and the Allied powers. It imposed heavy reparations, territorial losses, and military restrictions on Germany, aiming to prevent future aggression. The treaty's harsh terms fueled resentment in Germany, contributing to economic hardship and political instability. Carl Benz. Carl Benz was a German engineer and inventor, credited with building the first practical automobile powered by an internal combustion engine in 1885. His 3-wheeled vehicle, known as the Benz Patent Motorwagen, The Bauhaus movement. The Bauhaus movement was an influential German art and design school founded in 1919 by Walter Gropius, aiming to unify art, craft, and technology. It emphasized functional, minimalist design with clean lines, integrating architecture, furniture, graphic design, and industrial design. The Bauhaus promoted the idea that form should follow function, and sought to create affordable, mass-producible objects for modern life. Reinheitsgebot. The Reinheitsgebot, also known as the German Beer Purity Law, was originally enacted in 1516 in Bavaria to regulate the ingredients of beer. It mandated that beer could only be made from water, barley, and hops. Yeast was later understood as essential. The law aimed to ensure beer quality and prevent the use of harmful or cheap additives. Hindenburg disaster. The Hindenburg disaster occurred on May 6, 1937, when the German passenger airship LZ-129 Hindenburg caught fire and was destroyed while attempting to land in Lakehurst, New Jersey. The massive blaze killed 36 people out of the 97 on board and marked the end of the era of passenger airship travel. The cause of the fire is still debated, but it dramatically damaged public confidence in airship safety. Habsburg Dynasty. The Habsburg dynasty was a powerful European royal family that ruled large territories, including the Holy Roman Empire, Austria, Spain, and Hungary, from the late Middle Ages until the early 20th century. They were known for their strategic marriages, which expanded their influence across Europe without constant warfare. The dynasty played a central role in European politics, religion, and culture for centuries, especially during the Renaissance and Baroque periods. Luftwaffe. The Luftwaffe was the aerial warfare branch of Nazi Germany's military during World War II. Established in 1935, it played a key role in early German victories through tactics like Blitzkrieg and was involved in major battles such as the Battle of Britain. The Luftwaffe operated a wide range of aircraft, including fighters, bombers, and reconnaissance planes, but faced increasing challenges from Allied air forces as the war progressed. The Hanseatic League. The Hanseatic League was a powerful medieval trade network of merchant cities and towns across northern Europe, active from the 13th to the 17th century. It was centered around the Baltic and North Seas, facilitating commerce, protecting trading interests, and establishing economic dominance. Member cities like Lübeck, Hamburg, and Bremen gained political influence and wealth through cooperation and mutual defense. The Schleswig Wars. The Schleswig Wars were two 19th-century conflicts between Denmark and the German states over the duchies of Schleswig and Holstein. The First Schleswig War was sparked by nationalist tensions and ended with Denmark retaining control. The Second Schleswig War involved Prussia and Austria defeating Denmark, leading to Denmark's loss of the duchies. These wars contributed to the unification of Germany under Prussian leadership and reshaped the region's political boundaries. Hitler was an artist. Yes, Adolf Hitler aspired to be an artist in his youth and applied twice to the Academy of Fine Arts Vienna, but was rejected both times. He mainly produced paintings and sketches of buildings and landscapes, focusing on architectural subjects rather than people. Despite his artistic ambitions, his work was considered technically competent, but lacking in creativity and emotional depth. Frankfurt Assembly. The Frankfurt Assembly was the first freely elected German parliament convened in 1848 during the revolutionary wave across Europe. It aimed to unify the numerous German states into a single nation and draft a liberal constitution promoting democracy and civil rights. However, it struggled with internal divisions and lacked support from powerful monarchs and military forces. German Confederation. The German Confederation was a loose association of 39 German-speaking states established in 1815 after the Congress of Vienna, replacing the dissolved Holy Roman Empire. Its main purpose was to coordinate the economies and maintain the political order among the member states, while preventing the rise of nationalism and liberalism. The Confederation had a federal assembly, but lacked strong central authority, which limited its effectiveness. Peasants' War. The Peasants' War, 1524 to 1525, was a widespread popular revolt in the German-speaking regions of Europe, driven by economic hardship, social injustice, and the influence of the Protestant Reformation. Peasants and lower-class farmers demanded better rights, an end to serfdom, and fairer treatment from the nobility and clergy. The rebellion was brutally suppressed by princely armies, resulting in tens of thousands of deaths. The Peace of Westphalia. The Peace of Westphalia, signed in 1648, ended the 30 Years' War in Europe and marked a turning point in international diplomacy. It established the principles of state sovereignty and non-interference in the internal affairs of other nations. The treaty redrew the political map of Europe, granting independence to the Dutch Republic and recognizing the sovereignty of numerous German princes. 1848 Revolutions. The 1848 revolutions were a series of widespread uprisings across Europe, driven by demands for political liberalization, national unification, and social reform. They involved workers, middle-class liberals, and nationalist groups challenging monarchies and conservative governments. The Zollverein. The Zollverein was a 19th-century customs union among various German states, established in 1834 to facilitate free trade and economic cooperation by removing internal tariffs. It helped unify the German economy and paved the way for political unification by strengthening economic ties, especially under Prussian leadership. The Zollverein contributed to the growth of industry and commerce in the German states during the Industrial Revolution. It remained a key economic alliance until the creation of the German Empire in 1871. Ferdinand Porsche. Ferdinand Porsche was an Austrian-German automotive engineer and founder of the Porsche car company. He is best known for designing the original Volkswagen Beetle, commissioned by Adolf Hitler as an affordable people's car. Porsche also contributed to the development of military vehicles and advanced automotive technologies during World War II. The Berlin Conference. The Berlin Conference of 1884 to 1885 was a meeting where European powers divided Africa into territories without considering existing African cultures or political boundaries. Organized by Germany's Chancellor Otto von Bismarck, it aimed to prevent conflict among European nations during the Scramble for Africa. The conference formalized rules for colonization and trade, but led to exploitation and oppression of African peoples. The Silesian Wars. The Silesian Wars were a series of 3 mid-18th century conflicts between Prussia and Austria over control of the resource-rich region of Silesia. They took place during the larger context of the War of the Austrian Succession and the 7 Years' War. Prussia, led by Frederick the Great, successfully seized and retained most of Silesia, boosting its power and influence in Central Europe. These wars marked a key step in Prussia's rise as a major European power and weakened Austrian dominance. The Teutonic Knights. The Teutonic Knights were a medieval Catholic military order founded in the late 12th century during the Crusades to aid pilgrims and fight in the Holy Land. They later focused on conquering and Christianizing pagan territories in the Baltic region, especially in Prussia and Livonia. The order established a powerful monastic state that played a major role in medieval Eastern European politics and conflicts. Konrad Zuse. Konrad Zuse was a German engineer and computer pioneer who created the world's first programmable digital computer, the Turing Z3, in 1941. His inventions laid important groundwork for modern computing and computer programming languages. Despite working in wartime Germany with limited resources, Zuse's innovations were groundbreaking in automating calculations. He is often regarded as one of the fathers of computer science. The Moravian Church. The Moravian Church is a Protestant Christian denomination that originated in the early 15th century in the region of Moravia, now part of the Czech Republic. It grew out of the Hussite movement, inspired by reformer Jan Hus, emphasizing piety, community, and missionary work. The church is known for its early and influential role in Protestant missions around the world. The Schlieffen Plan. The Schlieffen Plan was Germany's military strategy during World War I, designed to avoid a two-front war by quickly defeating France in the west before turning to fight Russia in the east. It involved a rapid invasion through neutral Belgium to outflank French defenses and capture Paris swiftly. The plan failed due to stronger-than-expected Belgian resistance, British intervention, and logistical challenges. Operation Paperclip. Operation Paperclip was a secret U.S. program after World War II that recruited German scientists, engineers, and technicians, many formerly working for Nazi Germany, to help advance American military and space technology. Key figures like Wernher von Braun, a rocket scientist, were brought to the U.S. to contribute to projects such as the Apollo moon missions. The operation was controversial because it involved overlooking these individuals' past associations with the Nazi regime. October Revolution. The October Revolution in Germany, Also known as the German Revolution of 1918 to 1919, was a workers' and soldiers' uprising that led to the fall of the German monarchy and the end of World War I for Germany. It began in November 1918 with widespread strikes and mutinies, including the Kiel Mutiny by sailors. The revolution resulted in the abdication of Kaiser Wilhelm II and the establishment of the Weimar Republic, Germany's first democratic government. And that was the end of the Germany Iceberg. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.